Welcome to Aliveness Abode, where simple stories reveal deep wisdom. Rumi once said, "Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder." There is a famous legend about Albert Einstein and his mother that beautifully reflects this wisdom. As a child, Albert Einstein was different. While other children memorized answers, Albert was busy asking questions. He was curious, restless, and often misunderstood. His teachers struggled to understand the way his mind worked. One day, Albert returned home carrying a sealed letter from school. The letter was meant for his mother. As she opened it and began to read, tears filled her eyes. Young Albert watched nervously. He wanted to know what the letter said. His mother looked at him for a moment. Then she smiled. Instead of sharing the criticism written on the page, she told him that the school believed he was exceptionally gifted and that their classrooms were too limited for a child with such extraordinary potential. At that moment, something powerful happened. A seed was planted, a seed of belief. From that day forward, Albert carried a different story about himself. Not that he was a problem, not that he was inadequate, but that he was capable of something extraordinary. As the years passed, his mother continued to nurture that belief. She encouraged his curiosity. She welcomed his questions. She looked beyond his struggles and focused on his strengths. When Albert found it difficult to focus, she patiently introduced him to music. The violin soon became one of his greatest companions. It helped him concentrate, it gave him joy, and it remained a part of his life for decades. While others focused on what Albert lacked, his mother focused on what could grow. Little by little, the seed she had planted began to blossom. The curious young boy grew into a brilliant thinker, and eventually the world came to know him as Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds in human history. Years later, according to the legend, after his mother's passing, Einstein discovered the original letter among her belongings. As he unfolded it and began to read, he reportedly found a very different message. The school had described him as a child who was difficult to teach, a child they believed could not succeed there. For a long moment, Einstein sat in silence, and then he understood. His mother had been handed criticism, but she chose encouragement. She had been handed doubt, but she chose belief. She had been handed a problem, but she chose possibility. Imagine that moment. She could have reacted with anger. She could have repeated the school's judgment. She could have allowed someone else's opinion to become her child's identity. That would have been thunder. Words spoken in frustration or anger. Words that crush confidence before it has a chance to grow. But she didn't. Instead, she chose her words carefully. She chose words that encouraged rather than discouraged, words that helped her son see possibilities where others saw problem. She chose to become rain and gently nurtured her child until he blossomed beautifully. The world saw a problem and turned away. A mother saw a possibility that day. With words of love, she helped him see and nurtured a child who changed history. Subscribe to Aliveness Abode for stories that inspire growth, awareness, and wonder.